Okay, so in this talk here, we're going to be talking about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So basically, what I've realized is that I'm actually convinced that the riders on the horses are actually a type of demons that were actually worshipped by the Greeks. And it's what appears to be going on is that it's almost like as if God is showing John certain demons that the Greeks had worshipped, you know, or didn't worship, you know. It's almost like as if he's identifying them with what they're all about, you know, and you know, just to basically make it easier so we can figure out what is likely to be going on. But when it comes to like say a bow is likely, you know, it's like for example, um, the bow of maybe conquering, for example, is likely from a Jewish perspective and not from a Greek perspective. For example, the rider with the balances is a Jewish perspective on famine, on how much you can eat, whereas from a Greek perspective, balances is to do with law. You'll find goddesses having balances that are to do with law and justice, you know, in the Greek perspective. So when it comes to certain items like a sword or a bow, don't think from a Greek perspective. Think from a Jewish perspective. You know, there's lots of scriptures that talk about how God uses his bow and has his sword, sharpens his sword. So it's things like that. It's to do with war aspects or conquering aspects in a sense, but it's from a Jewish perspective and not from a Greek perspective, right? I just need to try and make that as clear as possible. So anyway, let's look into let's compare Apollo the or Apollyon with the rider on the white horse of Revelation 6. I'm convinced Revelation 6 the rider on the white horse is actually Apollyon, and I'll show why. Basically, what it says here, and I saw the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow. Okay, right now, of course, we know that Apollyon had a bow for for the Trojan War kind of thing. But I'm still thinking from a Jewish perspective also, especially when it comes to the area of the balances. And a crown was given unto him. Remember, he was given a crown. This is kingship status, okay? Remember, Apollyon or the beast was given authority, great authority, because he's been given any seat, which is a throne, of course, and we know a throne is for a king. So and it was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And we know that in Revelations uh, 13, it talks about who is able to make war with him, the beast, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. But the reason why the beast is able to make wars is because he's using the physical Antichrist, who is also the king, you know, um, to basically wage war, because only a physical king can do wars, whereas the beast or Apollyon destroyer will help the Antichrist to win wars supernaturally. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. So this is the Antichrist when he's conquering other countries with the beast or Apollyon, or the rider on the white horse. So I believe the rider on the white horse is the god Apollo. We know that Apollo had a bow and things like that. But I'm still thinking this is likely from uh, a Jewish perspective as well, and not just from a Greek. But mainly, you need to think from a Jewish perspective. I mean, I know the color of Apollyon was pure white, right? But I don't know if the colors are the same from a Greek and a Jewish perspective, though. So I believe the writers, the blah blah blah, and and yeah, and of course we know that he's also the king of the of over the locusts of the angel of the bottomless pit is also. So yeah, we know he's definitely a king. And aspects, the rider on the white horse, Revelations 11 aspect, when they shall have finished the testimony of the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, overcome them. So these are just examples that you can read through if you want. Okay, now When it comes to Revelation 6, the second seal is war. And when they have opened the second seal, I heard a voice, the beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse, and was red. And power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Now you notice here that it's basically he's causing people to war with each other, to kill each other. So it's not necessarily that he's literally the one that's doing the killings necessarily, but they're basically causing people to fight amongst each other. Which of course we know that this is why wars happen. Why we have wars in the world is because there's manipulation going on. And of course Ares, the Greek god Ares, was a rider, I believe is to be the rider on the red horse, right? But still, from a Jewish perspective, I'm thinking, but he's also identified with the Greek god Ares. In literature, Ares represented the violent and physical, untamed aspect of war. In art, Ares is usually represented wearing a helmet, a shield, and either a sword or a spear. And we know that he was given a sword, a great sword he was given. Unsurprisingly, few of them are flattering: the bane of mortals, the slayer of men, the city stormer, the armor clattering, the arm bearing. Since he was the god of senseless war, Ares was almost universally detested. So the Greeks actually didn't like him, which is understandable. Now when it comes to the third seal, this is to do with famine. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld on a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Now I'm thinking the balances is from a Jewish perspective, not from a Greek perspective. So think Jewish here, but a Greek god, a type of Greek god at the same time. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." So this being is being commanded not to hurt the oil and the wine. Now, the rider on the black horse, I'm convinced to be Aethon, the Greek god of famine, right? Ancient god of famine, right? So that's what I'm convinced he is. There's not very much information on the Greek god Aethon, okay? There's not very much information. I tried looking, but I couldn't find very much. But all we do know is that he's obviously linked with famine. In Revelation 6, the fourth seal, death. And when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and him that sat on him was death. And hell followed with him, and power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Now I looked at the god Thanatos, death on pale horse. Thanatos can actually be spelt death as well. Can actually, it basically just means death. And Thanatos was the god, the Greek god of, or personified spirit, demon of non-violent death. Okay, so he could cause someone to die without anything happening to them. Okay, so you just need to understand that that he's basically able to just cause you to die for no reason at all. Basically, that's what he was the god of. Makes perfect sense. Now, when I look in the Bible Hub, the Greek word for death, because it says name, remember, it says, and the name that, and the name that sat on him, remember, he's the only being that's actually been given a name here, is death. Now, when you look on the Bible Hub, it's actually capitalized Thanatos. If you look into the Greek word for death, it's actually Thanatos, the Greek god of death, and it's capitalized as well. So it's actually a name. It's not just a thing, or that someone experiences. Now we must look at the order of what is actually taking place here. We can mistakenly think that death and Hades are doing a job separate from Apollyon and Ares and Aethon, but in reality death is working with all of them. And we will look at the order. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice, and come and see, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name is Death, Thanatos, okay, and hell, I believe to be creatures of hell, basically, followed with him, and power, right, was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth. Now look, the reason why he has power is because of Apollyon. Remember that the four horsemen are actually working together. Authority over was given unto them, all of them, because of Apollyon, because Apollyon is the king, you see. He's the rider on the white horse. over the fourth part of the earth, not all of the earth, only a fourth part, to kill with sword. And this is Ares, this is his job. So think of this, right? When it says authority, think of, because the translation is power is actually authority translation in the Greek. Uh, this is the reason why they have that is because of the kingship of Apollyon was given unto them to kill with sword. This is the job of Ares, the demon of war, okay, of senseless war, which causes people to kill each other. And with hunger, this is the famine god Aethon, the black horse, the one with the balances. This is his job to make sure people go hungry. And with death, now of course death is Thanatos of non-violent death, okay, because it doesn't make sense to because I mean some people might think, why does it say death? Because if someone gets killed with a sword, they're going to die anyway, so why do they have death for? But that's not what it means. When it says here death, it's actually meaning non-violent death. That's what people will experience in the future. Okay, without a sword being stabbed into them or any kind of or any kind of killings. And with the beast of the earth. Now this is the two with Hades. Remember Hades follows after death? Earth would be Hades, so it is beasts of hell in the Canaanite language. So when it says beasts of the earth, it's actually beasts of hell. I would translate that as, because of Michael Heiser's work, that when it comes to ground or earth, which is Eretz or Arts, it's actually the Canaanite in the Canaanite language. It actually means netherworld. So you could say this is pretty much Hades. So now we see the four horsemen work together over a fourth part of the earth, not all of the earth, but only a fourth part of the earth to kill, and they will basically just kill men. These four horsemen, and Apollyon is one of them. Hopefully this makes sense to people, and bye for now.